All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson talking about how these other nations don't want us to have anything, man. They will be very pleased if we just thought that we was black for the rest of our life and was prepared to work for their jobs, right? And then if we was prepared to get lower pay, they want us to just pretty much be robots that can be used and abused by them. They want us to be punch bags for them. They want us to be entertainment for them, because they ain't got no flavor or no soul in themselves. But they don't want us to just sing and dance and do sports for them for the rest of our life, and they don't want us to rule anything, man. They don't want us to have anything separate from them. This is Psalms 83 and verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have come and said, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Right? The whole reason why all these nations are teamed up against us, and the whole reason why it seems like we're in our own version of the Truman Show, which, if you ain't watched that movie, the Truman Show is a TV show where a child is taken from when he's a baby and brought into a fake world, man. Right? A fake world that everyone in the world is an actor, and everybody in the world that's surrounding him is in on the story, in on the trick, out apart from him, man. Right? And they're all against him, man. And that's like what we are as Israelites. Everyone's against us. But how it is with how it's set up on the earth is that even other Israelites are against us, man. Even other Israelites are against us. If you ain't of the elected nation of Israel and you haven't been given that light to see, then you're trapped down there, man, and you're not even trying to escape. You ain't trying to escape. Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites and of Moab, and the Hagarenes, which is another type of Ishmaelite, Gabal and Ammon. Gabal would be Edom, if I'm not mistaken, and Ammon, the Ammonites, and Amalek, which is another tribe of Esau. The Philistines, that's the Hamites, and the inhabitants of Tyre, that's another Hamites, right? But all these nations are against us, man. But some of these nations are more confederate with each other, and some of them are even more against us than others, man. Right? But really, all these nations are against us, and none of these people want us to have anything, man. And let's go to this. This is Revelation chapter 11. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And that represents really a spiritual time in years of how long we've been how long we was in hardcore captivity and didn't know who he was, man. But then Yahweh raised the spirit out from heaven and gave it unto men to speak, to teach, man, to give unto that valley of dry bones so that they could know where they are. And now that people are seeing that valley of dry bones turning into Israelites, they're shook, man. Verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and shall send gifts. And they that dwell on the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And that goes back to the valley of dry bones, man. Right? These are the same two events, man. The valley of dry bones rising up, and the people that was spiritually in the place that's spiritually called Sodom and Egypt rising up as well, man. And now that people are looking at us, they're like, damn, these people might be Israelites. And really, they know that we are Israelites, man. Really, let's not make no mistakes about it. These people really know that we're the Israelites, man. They know that we are. The whole doctrine makes sense. Every single Bible verse comes to life when you apply it to us. When you apply these Bible verses to the Negro, Latino, Native American, the whole book makes sense. But when you apply it to what they're talking about God loving everybody, you can find out that that's a lie from the story of Noah. You can find out that that's a lie from Cain and Abel. You can find out that that's a lie from the fact that there was people called sons of God but there was also people called the sons of men in the Bible. Why wasn't everyone sons of God? You can find it out that it's not true when you go to the story of the Tower of Babel, right? You can find it out that it's not true when you go to Sodom and Gomorrah. You can find that it's not true when you go to the story of Jacob and Esau, when you go to the fact that Abram had 8 sons. Everything that they're saying don't make no sense, man. You can find out that Christmas, celebrating Christmas ain't real when you read the Bible. There ain't no Christmas celebration. Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, tells you the celebrations that you're supposed to do. Or the feast days, or the whole holy days. And none of them ain't Christmas. Verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And that's what we're waiting to see, man. We're waiting to see all these scumbags down there, man, realize that we ain't what they thought we was, man. That we ain't just lowly bums, man. Right? And that the reason why we didn't have money, or the reason why we didn't have the ultimate action man shape up, or the reason why we didn't have 6 packs, 25 packs, right? The reason why we wasn't pushing a German whip, cocaine white, right? The reason why we didn't have all these things that they have is because Yahweh was putting us through the furnace of affliction, man. Not because we wasn't this or we wasn't that, because really, in reality, we was better than all of these people, man. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. And that's what the world's getting to receive, man. They're going to get to see that, because they really think that we're nothing, man. And these people of this world, they don't want you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to have anything. And some of you people out there, some of you so-called black people out there in particular, man, and you Native Americans and Latinos as well, you've got a bit of a sellout spirit on you too, man. I'm starting to realize, man, from the ones of you that I've met, you've got a bit of a sellout spirit some of the time on you as well, man. Some of you, right? And you don't want to escape. It's like you've accustomed to the slave position that you've been put in, man. Because you're just blind like how everybody else is blind. But you're uncircumcised in heart, whereas they're uncircumcised in general. They're just uncircumcised in every type of way. They can't get this, man. But you're just uncircumcised in your heart, man. A lot of you Israelites, man. Forget uncircumcision of the flesh. If your heart's not uncircumcised, if your heart's not clean, right? If your heart's not circumcised, well, then what the hell does it matter whether your flesh is, right? And I'm gonna end the lesson there, man. None of these nations really want you people, us to have anything, man. They don't want us to have shit, man. They just want us to bow down like onto the ground, so that they can climb over, so that they can get a kingdom off our back. But Yahweh's got other plans, man. He's gonna give us a kingdom. Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. Shalom.